Well, this is not going to be about paper or EVED tax. No, we're going to talk about the new Nissan Leaf. Paul from the Nissan EV Owners Club put a video out. Go check it out on YouTube, where he was invited to the official launch event of the new Nissan Leaf. But I actually saw it back in October. It was at the Everything Electric show. And I think Octopus Energy had brought it along as a kind of potential lease car, I think. But the doors were locked on all of those on display there. But I did have a good walk around it. Took a few pictures. I'll put them up. And had the Leaf there and the Micra, the new Micra. And I think that this is potentially going to be Nissan's saviour, because they were in financial difficulties. They were selling assets, offices, and all sorts, and they were in a bit of financial bother. But I think, having seen this Leaf and now having seen the specs of it and the price, and the fact that both of those cars qualify for the full electric vehicle grant, I think this is going to be a really difficult car for others to beat. I really do. They're launching with the long-range Nissan Leaf first, which has got 385 miles of WLTP range, which is huge. More than enough for your daily needs. I think they've got it just spot on with that. And then I think they're going to come in with a cheaper version, around about £26,000 with like 269 miles of WLTP range, with a long range one starting at 32,000. I think this is going to be an epic car. I really do. I think I do. I honestly do. I think, having seen it in person, it was a great looking car. It's a hatchback. It's roomy. It's got a beautiful looking interior, really, really nice, and it looked super good quality. Obviously, I couldn't open the door and get in it, unfortunately. But I must admit, I'm not often taken aback by Nissan. There's a few cars in the past that have really got my attention, but this really got my attention. The new Leaf. When you think, like, back in 2011, Nissan launched the volume production electric family hatchback. They were really the pioneers, to say, here's a normal hatchback size car for your family, and it's electric, and it had 70, 80, 90 miles of range from a 24 kilowatt hour battery, and it was a good family workhorse. And you know what? When I have a look on Auto Trader of all the used car deals and things, and I start with the cheapest, you'll see, like, you might see the Mitsubishi Imiev there, which is like the precursor. It's a little Japanese Kai car that came to the UK with an electric version. And I think Citroën had their version, and so did Peugeot on the same car. But the Leaf was like the family hatchback, and I think it's something that certainly captured a lot of people's imaginations, and there's still plenty out there for sale. And if you think about how small a battery is, and when I see these adverts on Auto Trade and they've done over 100,000 miles, you think, wow, that's impressive. That's impressive for a first attempt at an EV. Really impressive, in fact, when you think about it like in those terms. And I know that Nissan, they put a bigger battery in it about mid-decade with a 30 kilowatt hour, and then they had a complete overhaul of the Leaf and came out with the next generation, which I think was on the same architecture but completely different inside and out, and bigger battery again. I think 2 battery options, in fact. And then it kind of stopped for many years, and then nothing. There were these kind of pioneers, really, of an electric car revolution. And shortly after Nissan launched the Leaf, you had the Renault Zoe, the BMW i3, the Tesla Model S, And then you started getting some through from Kia with a Kia Soul. Is it e-Soul? I can't remember. And for a manufacturer to have kind of been on the front foot with this, they actively put themselves on the back foot by not developing cars that they'd learned from their experience. All new versions of these of the Leaf would have been should have come out probably towards 2018, I'd have thought, but we didn't see it. They just carried on till about 2024. But Nissan did launch the Aria, which is a lovely car. I think it was about 2022. Big SUV crossover. I think it's a bit bigger than the Qashqai. I could be wrong on that, but about that kind of size. Current Qashqai size, I should say. But this Leaf, it's like the big reset really for Nissan. And when you consider the price points for these starting at around 25, 26 for the smaller battery and 32,000 for the long range one, that's impressive. I think like Vauxhall are in trouble. Stellantis generally, they can't compete. You look at the Astra, Peugeot E308. They can't. They won't be able to get anywhere near that. They won't be able to get anywhere near what this Nissan Leaf can do and how well it's appointed inside. They just can't touch it. In my mind, they cannot touch it. Volkswagen are going to be in trouble with this. I think Nissan have really hit the nail on the head with this. I honestly, hand on heart, I do. I think this is their opportunity now to kind of rise from the financial mess they're in and rebuild and come back fighting as a leaders in the space again. I'm not saying they're going to compete with Tesla or BYD or whatever. There's enough market space for them to sit alongside those and take market share from even more petrol cars. So yeah, I think they're going to do exceptionally well. It's definitely the one to look out for this year, or next year, I should say, because we're coming towards the end of this year. Definitely the car to keep an eye on. And I also saw the new Nissan Micra. I liked it. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit more cutesy looking than the Renault 5, on which they share architecture. I think it will certainly appeal to a lot of people, and I think there's a few features on there, like the one-pedal driving, that would be more attractive to people over the Renault 5. I love the Renault 5, I really do. If I had to pick between the two, I mean, the Renault 5, it just tugs on the heartstrings, and that's nothing you can say that the original Nissan Micras really did. They were, great practical car, but they I was never had any emotions about them. But the Renault 5s I did, the old GT turbos and things. Yeah, that was kind of my era, 80s and 90s hot hatches. So yeah, that really tugs on my heartstrings, I think. But this Nissan Micra certainly shed the previous impressions that people had of the Micra, with some cheeky nods back to some of the past era. There is like I think in Paul's video, a pan to was a Mark 1 Micra. Paul, you'll correct me on this. And there's just like a shot of it, and I thought, oh yeah, that's the C-pillar they've got on the new Micra. I recognised that, and then you recognise like the round elements. They're not really lights; they're kind of DRLs at the front that resemble one of the previous generation Micras. I think this will reinvigorate and certainly pick up a different fan base now. I think Nissan are perhaps now shedding their kind of slightly, I don't want to be cruel here, but dowdy past with the, the Mark 1, Mark 2 Micras. I think they were fine cars because you still see some of them on the road, so they must have been well made, but they never really tugged at the heartstrings. But I think this new Micra will certainly appeal to a lot of people. I think it's a brilliant what they've done. Well done, Nissan. I know that Paul said there's more cars coming from Nissan as well. Do you know? I think they're going to do it. I think Nissan are going to come through, and they're going to be strong again. But the competition for electric car sales is hotting up. I've seen cars from BYD and Chang'an, and I don't know if I said that right, Deepal and Amoda and JQ and other brands that they don't pop into my head at the moment. But they all seem really good quality cars, well built, high spec, really reasonable price. And I think Nissan are just nailing this just right. I think they're getting it. I think they're, I think they can compete with these Chinese cars coming in, whereas European manufacturers, I don't think they can. They're still stuck in their legacy ways of massive options lists and add-on accessories and packages and all sorts that you take your £32,000 entry level VW ID3 and then whack on 10 grand's worth of options when you could just buy the Leaf, and like the entry level Leaf for 26 grand and save yourself a load of money, and it will still be well equipped and it will still have more range. I mean, they've just nailed it. Well done, Nissan. Yeah, brilliant work. And I do worry now for legacy European manufacturers, because Stellantis are producing average cars. Volkswagen are producing probably a decent car, but really you don't get value for money. I think they're going to be in trouble. I think Nissan has done something special here. I really do. Anyway, I shall leave with that thought.